Hey, Twin Cities, it's your good friend, it's your pal, it's your compadre, it's TC, everybody. How you doing? What's going on the big show today? Well, I'm back. After missing a week, I have no excuse. I will not make any kind of excuse. Nothing. Irresponsible of me. It's not the correct way to do business, and I believe in doing business the right way and with integrity. I'm not going to make any excuses. I blew it last week. I'm back this week. Let me have learned a lesson from that. So there you go. What's going on the big show today? Well, of course, there's always three parts to Hey Twin Cities. The first part is my journey. We talk a little bit about why I'm angry, bitter, scared, happy, sad, emotionally disturbed, or even, what's the other one? I'm feeling sorry for myself. And that'll maybe give you a little insight into why there was no show last week. So we'll talk about a poopery of topics there. A poopery, baby. Come on now. We'll also do some, of course, Twin Cities talk, because I'm a Twin Cities boy, born and raised in the greater Twin Cities area of Minneapolis and St. Paul. West Side as a young boy. East Side as a young man and adult. Though I don't think I really became an adult until I was about 30, unfortunately. You know, it's that development arrested syndrome that we have these days in this country, unfortunately, and in the Twin Cities. So anyways, lots to talk about today, whether it's the Twins, Ricky Rubio, the Vikings, Joe Sensor, Cub and Rainbow Foods. I got it all covered today, baby. And then finally, the last part of the show is always first customer. This is my pipe dream, where I want to be your first customer. Are you on welfare? Are you on disability? Are you on Social Security? Are you on unemployment? Or you just got a crappy job down there in Egan? Or, you know, you got the crappy job up in Mendota Height, as Clem Haskin would say. Well, this is your chance, you know, to throw the shackles of society to the side and say, I am not going to be a part of the problem. I am part of the solution. And I know you can be. Well, I want to be your first customer, and I want to help you get more customers. That's all I want. I'm not trying to be noble. I am trying to save the greatest country in the history of the world, no matter what people say. We should be more like Europe. Yeah, Europe. A bunch of loser countries over there. Hello? They're all loser countries now. Have you been to Europe lately? The scene, it's nice over there, not so bad. But they're all a bunch of loser countries. Let it be said. Of course, I'm half German and I'm half Norwegian. So what do you want from me, right? So anyway, there you go. And no doubt somebody can pick on me for that. No doubt. Anyway, so I want to be your first customer. You get all your panties in a wide. Maybe you make underwear. Maybe you want to be like the Spanx girl or the Under Armour guy. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I'll buy some underwear for you, as long as it's not used or something. God forbid. You make me a nice tidy whitey, though I prefer the gray. And of course, maybe even the red or the black, in case, you know, I'm outside and I end up getting grass stains on the underwear. I really don't want that, of course. But anyway, so we got first customer coming up. A couple of websites and a couple of things to talk about there that I thought might be interesting. So there you go. All right. So what's going on in my journey? Well, as I talked about a little bit, I missed last week's show. No excuses. I'm not going to say anything about that. I've got a reason why it might have happened, but in the end, come on, I'm gonna call BS on myself. Actually, Jennifer, what was it? Jennifer was playing around with Siri, you know, on the Apple 4S, and she was getting kind of the runaround from Siri when she was asking questions, and she says, "I'm gonna call BS. I'm gonna call, you know, BS on that, Siri." And Siri responds with, "I cannot find, BS," but she used the whole word. "I cannot find BS in your phone book. Would you like me to call somebody else or something?" She said. Anyways, it was kind of funny. And that was kind of death, went nowhere, but anyways, so there you go. So let's talk about, so I was, last week I was feeling sorry for myself. Yeah, you know, get over it, punch yourself in the arm and say, "Buck up, John Bender," because we got a lot more problems there. At least the old man isn't giving you a pack of smokes for for Christmas and telling you to smoke up, Johnny. No, you don't want any of that. So, anyway, yeah, I'm not going to talk about too much. I think I'm feeling pretty good today. The weather, how about the weather here in the Twin Cities, baby? It's really nice. What was it, 60-something again today here? It's supposed to be in the 70s, and we're in the middle of March, if you can believe that. March, early March, okay, mid-March, and it's in the 70s. This is insane. I'll take it. I love it. Al Gore, I thank you. I love global warming. Let's make it happen. You know what's going to happen here, though, and I think it's not a bad thing. My fearless prediction is, since we're getting the warm weather now, I'm thinking that we might have a little cooler than average summer. Things tend to even out. This little lady called Mother Earth, she knows what she's doing, in my humble opinion. So, anyways, there you go. That's about it there on my journey. A lot to talk about in Twin Cities Talk. Of course, if you want to contact me, you can always send me an email at tc at HeyTC.com. So let's try that again. TC, as in Twin Cities, at HeyTC.com. And, of course, the website, HeyTC.com. If you like the show, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's all I got to say. I appreciate it. I'm not asking for anything at this point. Maybe one day I'll say, hey, can you tell a friend about the show? Be like, maybe. But if I keep him all to myself, he isn't going to be so crazy, and other people won't think I'm crazy. Well, you got a point there. I appreciate that. That may be right on the ball. So, all right, a little Twin Cities talk. First off, we got to talk about last Friday night when Kobe Bryant went hard on the foul into Ricky Rubio. Now, here's the thing with Kobe Bryant. I can think of a lot of words to call him. I can think of the C word to call him. I can think of the MF word to call him. I can think of many things to call Kobe Bryant these days. But I'm not going to, because the play, it was a little hard, I think. But I think the reaction of the fans is warranted in this case, because you come across certain types of players in all sports and in life, where if somebody, does something that injures someone else, God forbid, sometimes you'll have the players that will come over and be personable and, hey, check on the player. Kobe Bryant doesn't strike me as that type of player. Jennifer was saying that if you think back, Scottie Pippen was that type of player. We were juxtaposing Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan would have been over there checking on Ricky Rubio, as were Kobe Bryant and, say, Scottie Pippen. Those are the types of guys who, I don't know if they're just a-holes when it all comes down, or they just don't know how to deal with the situation. Some people don't. And maybe that's it. But yeah, Kobe Bryant. I'm hoping for the hard foul on this Friday night when the Timberwolves go back to Los Angeles for yet another game with the Lakers. I don't know how we got 4 games with the Lakers this year, and they're not even in our division in the West. Yet somehow we've only played Denver once. Hello. And Utah. I think this will be our 3rd time playing Utah on Wednesday night. So. But anyways, disappointing about Ricky Rubio. I was surprised. Well, I wasn't surprised that the Timberwolves then went to lost to the New Orleans Hornets, of course. And the Hornets did themselves a great favor, because the Timberwolves don't have a number 1 pick next year. They, of course, that pick belongs to the New Orleans Hornets, who only had 9 wins coming in. So that was terrible. Though, of course, they got the win in Phoenix on Tuesday night. Monday night, I guess, in Phoenix, and that shootout, that was something else in the 4th quarter. Nobody would miss a basket. Everybody was lighting it up. So, what are the Wolves' chances this year? I want to say that they don't have a shot now with Rubio out. I like JJ Barea a lot, though his nickname for me has become Mr. Street Clothes, because the guy seems like he's in street clothes half the damn time. So I'm hoping that Barea can step up, maybe a little Malcolm Lee action. I missed the game on, Saturday night when they played the Hornets. Somehow it wasn't on TV here, and it was on NBA TV, but in Comcast's all-witty, all-knowing mentality, and of course the NBA TV themselves, they blacked out the game. Even though nobody could watch it, they blacked it out on Comcast. So I guess Wednesday night's game is the same thing, where FSN is not broadcasting. It's supposed to be on NBA TV, but Comcast will probably black it out again for some reason. Just retarded, in my humble opinion. What the hell? Anyway, so. All right. Enough Timberwolves talk, a little more sports talk here before we get on to some other subjects. I got invited to opening day to see the Twins play, which I believe is against the Texas Rangers, California Angels, somebody? I don't know who's playing on opening day. I know the Twins open in Baltimore. That's all I know. And then they come home the day after Easter. Happy Easter. So I'll be going to opening day. I've never been to an opening day before, so that should be fun. Been to Target Field a handful of times. I really like the park. Very nice. I've been comped some tickets in the past from some very nice people. And they were in the, not the Legends Club. Yeah, the Legends Club. Or is it the Champions Club? Not the stuff behind home plate, but the stuff with the padded seats up in the second deck by the press box. I always can look over and see Sid Hartman there. You got to hand it to Sid, man. Wow. He got guys crazy. So looking forward to opening day for the Twins. The Twins season this year, I'm not expecting too much, but we'll see what happens. All right, let's talk a little Vikings draft. A free agency, I guess, has started. There's a couple things going on. The Vikings let go of Steve Hutchinson. Kind of sad to see. I love Steve Hutchinson. I got to admit, I'm a big fan of Steve Hutchinson, but it was probably the right time to let him go. Who else they let go? Anthony Herrera, and that's nothing. And Quentin Griffin, I don't know what his name is. Cedric Griffin, yeah, his time had come as well. There's nothing going on there either. So what are you going to do, right? I mean, people, at least athletes in this case, live past their primes and, well, not live past their primes. You know what I mean. I mean, they play past their primes and, it's better for them to get a new start somewhere else. It's going to be interesting to see what the Vikings will do, whether they'll sign any free agents or not. I know that they're talking about A.J. Hammer or somebody like that. I forget his name. Or Cortland Finnegan. Oh, Brandon Carr. That's his name, not A.J. Hammer. I don't know who A.J. Hammer is. Brandon Carr possibly coming to the Vikings. Apparently he's a young guy. Cortland Finnegan, not so great. Hopefully not. Vincent Jackson. Everybody says that Vincent Jackson is this great wide receiver, but his stats have never reflected how great he is. So he's not that great. And then Marcus Colston, who's with the Saints. Of course, you got to wonder whether his success was based off of Drew Bledsoe and not so much of Colston. So we'll see. Hopefully the Vikings are a little more reserved in free agency because they can't win this year, it seems. And then they put a lot of their money into the draft. I think that would be the smart play. Looks like the Washington Redskins, would that be the R word? I don't know what's going on there, but anyways, yeah. Can I say that? It seems very offensive to some people, but anyways, whatever. The Washington R-words have gone ahead and traded, a bunch of picks to get the number 2 overall, and apparently they're going to take Robert Griffin III, not to be confused with, I don't think that's to be confused with Minnesota Viking Robert Griffith from, what did Griffin play in the 1990s, was it, I believe? On the, Keith Millard, Chris Dolman teams. Anyways, I'm not sure if they're related. They have the same name, so of course, one's a football player, the other one's a football player, could be his son, but what do I know? Anyways, I'm happy to see that Griffin will go number 2, because I really didn't want the Vikings to take him. I've had enough of running quarterbacks, whether it's been Donovan McNabb or, God forbid, Francis Tarkington. I love Fran Tarkington, but clearly running quarterbacks cannot win the big game. I've talked about this before. You don't want a running quarterback running your team, and it seems to me that Robert Griffin, based on his statistics that I saw in college, is a little bit of a running quarterback. Maybe he'll be the greatest quarterback of all time, a salute, but he won't be a Viking. Andrew Luck seems to be a drop back, get sacked kind of guy. That's the kind of quarterback I want. That's the kind of quarterback that wins championship football. Christian Ponder, he's got a little bit of a happy feet there. They need to anchor his feet down and let him take the sack, like, say, Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or anybody else, any of these other great quarterbacks. Dan Marino, none of these guys had happy feet, though Dan Marino, I guess, didn't win a championship, did he? No, I don't think so. Okay, Bob Greasy, there you go. Oh, maybe he was a bit of a scrambler. So anyways, looks like Andrew Luck will go number 1. Robert Griffin III will go number 2. And that leaves the door open for Ryan Kalil, left tackle. I like that pick. I guess I wouldn't mind if the Vikings tried to diversify a little bit and get some more talent later in the draft. But having a great left tackle, hopefully he's not Bryant McKinney, let's just put it that way. Hopefully Ryan Kalil will be the real deal. Wow. I just spun that one out of nowhere. Boom! Did you like that, Neil? Of course, Neil Peart, every show in the studio here. For some reason, he chooses not to speak. Oh, what? Oh, yeah. I'm too cheap to buy another mic. But they could probably hear you if you actually spoke. Anyways, he's reading another Ayn Rand book. So what can you do? Neil Peart, everybody, thank you very much. He liked the Ryan Kalil is the real deal comment. So thanks, Neil. I appreciate that. Anyways, I don't know. Delusions of delusions. I think that's what I have. So we'll see what happens with the Vikings in free agency. I don't know. It's fun, I guess. It's fun. The off seasons are always fun in sports, in my humble opinion, just to see what, especially the NFL, because they've really ramped it up. Baseball has done an awesome job with the Hot Stove League, and now the NFL has done the same thing where it's almost 24/7, 365 for the NFL. There's always seemingly something going on there. By the way, that's another story I missed while I was gone. This whole Saints thing, this bounty thing by Greg Williams, the former offensive coordinator of the Saints. Boy, that pissed me off. Those SOBs in New Orleans. I know those guys were playing dirty, and ever since that game where they were hitting Favre in the NFC Championship game, I have hated the Saints. They're a dirtier team than any Oakland team has ever been, and now we have proof of that they were a dirty team, and I hope this Greg Williams guy is suspended for the rest of his career from the NFL. I think that's just cheap. The players are cheap as well for doing it. These guys who were, looking for the $1,000 bounty and the $1,500 take you off on a cart bounty as well. Scumbags in New Orleans. Right there. If you could see what I was doing, I'm using one of my fingers. Right there, New Orleans Saints, you son of a... Anyway, so there you go. All right, just want to get that off my chest. Anyways, what else is going on? Hey, of course, we got an election coming up this year, 2012. I really kind of want to, I like whenever I watch TV or media, I like my stuff to be apolitical unless I'm tuning in to, say, Bill Maher, where I know I'm going to get a liberal slant, or if I'm tuning into, I don't know, Sean Hannity, where you're going to get a conservative slant. So I'm not going to go all political on you here, but I just want to talk about the election. I was watching... I don't know if it was Fox News or MSNBC or CNN. They're all kind of the same. I was watching one of the channels, and they were talking about the unemployment rate, and will it affect President Obama in some sort of negative way if the unemployment rate's over 8.1%? And I thought, this is how stupid the media really is in this country. Or this is the extent of what we have to talk about on 24-hour news channels. Once again, I don't remember the station. So if you're a conservative, you're saying, "Oh, it was no doubt it was MSNBC," and if you're liberal, you're saying, "Oh, no doubt it was Fox News." Anyway, so once again, but I thought it was so stupid that they were arguing about, well, if it's who goes to the voting booth on the first Tuesday in November and says, well, the unemployment rate is 8.1%, so I'm going to go ahead and vote for Mitt Romney for president instead of Barack Obama. Or another guy goes to the voting booth and says, well, the unemployment rate is now 7.9%. So I'm going to go ahead and give Barack Obama 4 more years and not vote for Mitt Romney. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is so stupid. I think it all comes down in a lot of ways as to gas prices. I know that President Obama's ratings have been dropping here recently, and it's probably related to the gas prices, right? And it makes you wonder, hey, will the oil companies try to rig the election, since Barack Obama is obviously a big fan of this green energy movement, and though not nuclear for some reason. I don't understand that, but anyways. But But I'm sure the oil companies cover themselves as well in that aspect. I'm sure they know that they're no fool. The government, pissing away all this money on green energy in hopes of it producing something. If I was an oil company, I'd be like, well, I'm going to buy one of these green companies so we can get all this money the government's giving them. Make a little extra money that way. They're no fools. So anyways, we'll see how gas prices are. Obviously, they're shooting up a little bit. I think they're like $3.75 here on the east side of the Twin Cities today. I don't know. You get to $4 or $5 a gallon, God forbid, around election time. That ain't good. What were the gas prices when Jimmy Carter was president? As I know we had the gas shortage back then, and that might have alienated a lot of people. And obviously Ronald Reagan just mopped the floor with Jimmy Carter, and that's kind of rare because obviously Jimmy Carter being not interim president. Well, it turns out he wasn't. Everybody's an interim president. Except for, what's his face? Roosevelt, it seemed. But being a president that, an incumbent president, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Neil Peart. Brilliant, man. This is why he is on my team, Neil Peart. Not only the second greatest drummer in the history of rock and roll. I got you, buddy. Yeah. Okay, the greatest drummer in the history of, don't give me this Ginger Baker or Keith Moon or John Bonham crap. It's Neil Peart. Oh, hey, Neil, have you heard Alex Van Halen play lately? Hey, how about that new Van Halen album, huh? Have you heard it? Well, of course you've heard it because I've given you a copy and I keep making you listen to it. But I love it, man. The new Van Halen. I got to do a CD review of the new Van Halen album. Self-indulgent completely, but I love that new Van Halen CD. Honey Baby Sweetie Doll is the reason why I became a guitarist in the first place, though I'm not a very good guitarist. It's off the new album. Of course, it throws me back to the age of, Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2, great stuff like that, 1984. So, anyways, but Neil Peart, number one drummer of all time. But Alex Van Halen, buddy boy, gotta say, well, look out, buddy. Have you heard Chinatown on the new Van Halen record? Yeah, you know it. He's doing the nod. Thank you very much. All right, how we doing on time? Things are kind of getting away from me here, so... I don't know what we were talking about when this whole thing started, but, so we'll see how the election goes, I guess. A salute. I don't know if anything really changes, whether one party's in office or another. They seem to be cut from the same ilk. I know that the two ends of the spectrum seem to think that they're vastly different, but come on. We're all adults in the room, right? They're owned by the same people. It's just what people at the what time, right? Hey, a couple of things quickly here before we get out of here. Joe Sensors, I see, is closing another location. He had closed the Eagan location a couple months ago, and now the Plymouth location is going under. I've been to a Joe Sensors once with a friend of mine and Jennifer. We were there at the one in Bloomington. I thought the food was actually surprisingly good, but I've only been there once. I'm not a sports bar type of guy, not at all. I guess there's two left now. There's the one in Bloomington and the one in Roseville. I can see why Joe Sensors is maybe going out of business now, is because he's not in the public eye anymore. I think he used to be on CCO radio a lot back in the Vikings days. Obviously when he played, and then when he was a broadcaster. But his profile is obviously, in my mind, gone down severely, and it's not just because of the wife issue with the hit and run supposedly. On her, and we'll see what happens because she's awaiting trial on the gentleman who unfortunately passed. See what happens. Being out of the public eye, I think that's going to hurt you in some ways. Mostly in some ways, and maybe they're taking a hit now because of the wife situation too, probably, which is unfortunate because that's the wife that made that decision. But I guess. That's the consequences of being married to someone, because if I decided to go out and try to, lob water balloons down on everybody in the state capitol, my wife would probably suffer the consequences or the rewards. Hopefully there would be many rewards from all all of the Twin Cities that said, yeah, very nice. You waterboard those people. Not waterboard, water balloon. Why, was that a Freudian slip or what? Oh, my God. Water balloon 'em. Yes, water balloon 'em. I hope I said water balloon the first time. I think I did. Maybe I said waterboard. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, hey, had some lunch at Famous Dave's today. I got to say, I love their cod. They've launched this cod, and they have a tartar sauce, which isn't that great. But the waitress we go to, we go to Famous Dave's in Woodbury. The waitress we go to knows us, and she offers her good customers. And yeah, that's why I should be your first customer, because I'm a hell of a customer. I'm a great customer. By the way, if you're a crappy server in a restaurant and I give you the stiff tip, you deserve the stiff tip because you suck. But if I give you a $10 tip on a $20 bill because you provide great service, that is why we live in America. I don't know what I've been doing with that point, but anyways, so you give me great service, I'm going to give you a nice tip if you're a waitress or a waiter in a restaurant. So it goes without saying, you give me crappy service or you give me crappy food, unfortunately the waitress or the waiter is going to pay the price for that because they were putting out crappy food. Of course, it's maybe my responsibility a little bit to say something that, hey, this is crappy food, but, Anyway, so the waitress gives us this remoulade sauce. Oh, it's wonderful with these cod. Oh, and the cod is very nice. The breading is just beautifully tight to it. It's not that loose breading. I love the Famous Dave's cod, and of course, they're a Minnesota company. I've only had one bad meal at a Famous Dave's ever, and it was a Famous Dave's in Colorado Springs, of all places. So that's what I get, to go into a Famous Dave's in Colorado Springs and not go to one in Minnesota. So, but I love the Woodbury location. The Stillwater location, not so good, Al. Let that be said to corporate down there at Famous Dave's. Look into Stillwater, and you need to go through there with a nice broom and sweep that place out because they're not doing you any favors. I won't drive over to Stillwater. I'll drive the extra 15 minutes and go to the one in Woodbury. That's how good the one in Woodbury is. So anyways, it's like a commercial for Famous Dave's, and it's not meant to be, but I got to say, they put out a pretty good product at Famous Dave's in Woodbury, and, it's a chain restaurant, but hey, it's a Minnesota chain, so you got to love them. They're not Perkins, let's put it that way. Perkins, woo-wee, they got right down the toilet. Anyway, all right, anything else today? Oh, I could go off on another rant here about, remember when disabled people were really disabled? I'll save this for next show, but I'm going to tease it this way. But yeah, so remember when disabled people were actually disabled? What do you think that real disabled people now think of all these people who are on disability and who get the handicap stickers and the handicap stuff or whatever on the license plate? I was walking into Cub the other day, and I'm walking behind a couple who gets out of their car after parking in the handicap spot. And I'm looking at them, and there's nothing wrong with these people. Okay, maybe one of them has got some sort of back issue, but my God, come on, people. Buck it up a little bit. What's this crap? Ugh. So anyways, but yeah, I mean, what if you were like in a wheelchair, God forbid, and like many people are? You're leading a full life, you go out there, yeah, you need the extra space, and then there's one space left, although at Cub Foods in Stillwater, there's like 18,000 spots that are dedicated to handicapped people, and half of them, well, most of them aren't even handicapped, it seems to me. But what if you are disabled, and you pull into that last spot, and you get, these two schmoes that are getting out of their car. One of them looks like he's about, 35 years old. The other one looks like it's 25. They got the handicap sticker on the back of the car. They got it in the window. Obviously you think, well, this is someone that isn't handicapped, but is actually using a handicapped spot because, say, their mom or someone they know is handicapped in some way or disabled in some way. But it turns out, I bet, if you actually asked and inquired, these people are probably disabled according to the government. I swear, there must be like a kickback from doctors these days. The more people you can get on disability, the better. So this is why I'm passionate about this. I don't want a country where we turn out like Europe, where we're a bunch of losers. I want a country of strong people who go out, kill something, bring it back to the cave, and cook it for the family. Not this crap of sitting on government assistance. Please. Buck it up. Start your own business. I want to be your first customer. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. Well, yes, I'll be here all week, actually, turns out. Speaking of first customer, that segues into a couple of, boy, I could go off on a rant there, but I guess that was my first customer rant. I will just say, once again, I beg you, I implore you, I want to be your first customer. I have money. I may not be able to afford your services, but I certainly will recommend them. And if people like them, and if I like them, I will recommend you even more. And hopefully you can be the new Spanx Queen of America, Sarah Blakely, or you can be the new Under Armour guy of America, John Fitzgibbons, or I don't know what his name is, sorry, whatever the guy's name is. But I want this to be a country of successful people, and that's all I want. I don't like seeing certain politicians encouraging more and more of a welfare state in this country. In my mind, it's bad for this country. It's only going to lead us down a path that's an unfortunate one. So anyways, I'm not trying to be political in any way. Not in any way. I just want what's best for you. And what's best for you is to doing what you love, whether it's making, I don't know, whiteboards or making scissors. I'll buy your first pair of scissors. If you make a great pair of scissors, I'm sure as hell going to mention it on the website and in the show. That's all I ask. All right. Boom. Let's put this one in the book. A little pent-up energy after missing last week. Pent-up energy indeed. Pure energy. As the Information Society would sing from 1988, 87? I don't know. Pure energy. Spock. Very much so. Thank you. All right. Big show in the book for March 13th of 2012. It's your good friend, it's your pal, it's your compadre. It's TC, everybody. And I will see you in the emergency room.